Hello. How is everybody? So exciting. Let's see. I'm trying to drop you in a few links. How did everybody like that new countdown timer? So we could be in big trouble now there, guys, because I have figured out how to download some of these free. Hey, Nancy Loy, how are you tonight? Let me go back up and check the comments really quick. I might be dangerous now. Really quick before we jump into the video, if you have not signed up for live stream text alerts, you can do that by texting the word live stream to 540-870-0726. We would love to have you receive text alerts just in case anything's ever a little bit off with Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and take that little ticker off down at the bottom. And let's go ahead and take off our cover there. Hey, how are you? You guys might really be in for it because I've figured something out today after much too long. I hate to admit it, but really I've been playing around with this for close to a year, since the third week of January last year, and I finally figured it out. So you might be in trouble. There might be all kinds of different things popping up in our live streams. Okay, so let's take a look at the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. I really liked it. It was like nice and upbeat and fun. I just wish it was all pink. So if any of you know how to make an all pink electrifying countdown timer, let me know. Hey, how are you, Kelly? I know, I feel like we could go do, like, what do they do? Aerobics or something? I don't do aerobics, but maybe we could like pretend. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Now, Myra, are you getting most of the text alerts? Because I definitely sent one and it came to my phone. So I have to, when it comes to my phone, then I have to, figure it went through. But I will definitely check it out. But if you're not getting most of them, then re-sign up. Okay. Because I don't control that. The community site controls all of that. Hey, Barbie, how are you this evening? Kelly, how are you? Is that Cupid? That's so cute. Let's see. I know. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing tonight? Let's see. Friends, I just found my Jack Russell eating some. Oh, no. He went for the vinyl with glitter. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's going to be a mess in a few hours. Oh, boy. But he has good taste. Vinyl and the glitter, of course, right? He's crafty. Hey, Nadine, how are you this evening? Guys, this link will be live, I think, on Facebook after the stream ends, but that's the link if someone else wants to grab it and drop it onto the Facebook page for me. I can't do that while I'm streaming live, but that link will take you to the cards from last week. They are listed in the coffee shop and they look like this. So it's got our date, 2 Tutorial Tuesday. It was Mittens, part 1 and 2. This is the cover one so that this index tab will stand up in your box. And then these are your 2 cards. So it has a photo, all the steps, that all of the different techniques. It's got a live hyperlink on each of your individual cards to take you to the YouTube tutorial videos. So please go grab your cards. They are I feel like I put them up at $3. They'll stay up at $3 until the next set goes up. Since this has been a week trying to get this worked out and get those hyperlinks fixed so that you could have just click on that from your file that you're going to keep on your desktop. So what am I telling you that? Because the price will go up after a week. Okay. So, and tonight I should be able to relatively quickly, although technology has been kicking my booty down the street all afternoon. And I think it all had a bunch of glitches after we lost our FiOS yesterday. It was pretty awful. So everything is taken about 4 times as long. And I'm sure you saw that because I was posting a link every time I went to post, but every time I went to upload a file, we had to go through a whole different process, but it appears now that everything is working. Hello, Camille. How's Utah tonight? Virginia is 24 degrees and 8 inches of snow coming this weekend. How exciting is that? Let me tell you how I'm going to invest my snow time. I would love to tell you that I'm going to be making lots of videos for you, but in truth, if I can find any place in my town to get my booster shot, I'm getting my booster shot as soon as my pickups are all done on Saturday at my storefront. And that way, if it gives me as hard a time as shot 1 and shot 2 did, I will be stuck at home anyway, and I will just crash so that I'm ready for Cookie Con, right? So I'll be getting my booster shot hopefully this weekend. So y'all say a prayer because you know they knock me for a loop. I don't do well, but it's been fabulous to not be ill. So I'll do what I got to do. Back away from the pink. Don't make eye contact. That's hilarious, Allison. Hello. Good. Okay, Sally got the alert. Myra, maybe sign up again and let's just make sure you're on there. I can see your name in the approved people, but if you're not actually receiving it, let's make sure something's not broken in the links, okay? Hello, Miss Teresa. How are you? Hello, Elizabeth. What color airbrush colors are you using for conversation hearts? Someone in the group will have to tackle that one because I am not using any airbrush colors for those. When I do conversation hearts, I usually use a stencil and I do a stencil swipe over them so that I have that little lift on the wording. But go back in our group a few days because someone posted, was it Teresa? I don't want to say the wrong person, but someone was fabulous in our group and posted the appropriate sugar art color combinations to make the exact color matches for conversation hearts. And it was a beautiful color palette. So please go back and check on that. Allison, the poor puppy. It'll be more like sandpaper. Hi, Jen. How are you? We're so glad you're with us tonight. I think you were one of our new group members from the week, so we welcome you. We hope you have a good time. Miss Nadine, tell Dale I said hello. And any special candy requests? We've got to get you another candy box to Canada before it gets hot, right? Hello, Kat. How are you? Let's see. You didn't know you signed up for my class, Vicky? That's so funny. Are you in my class? I thought I saw your name on the list. Well, we're going to have a good time. Plus, y'all know I'm a little extra. I like to give gifts. So be prepared for a small swag bag. I guess we don't normally have to do that when you do an elective, right? Because it's not a paid class. However, I can't come and not bring you presents. So I will be bringing presents. There will be swag. I don't know how big a swag it will be because I'm also toting all the cookies along from Virginia to Reno and they have to change airplanes. So we'll see. Barbie, I'm doing it. I'm not risking it. I'm not missing Cookie Con. And I want to be immunized as close to going as possible so that I'll feel a little less anxious at this Cookie Con. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. That makes sense, Myra. Yes. So the first one, Jen, it was bad. I didn't feel well. Like it was a worse reaction. I always have bad shot reactions though. So you all can't go by me, but the first one, I did not do well. It couple days, like 3-4 days, not feeling well at all, joint pain. But the second one, I might as well have had it because it was just as bad as when I got sick. You know, when I said I thought I had it, but they didn't know what it was. When I felt like I was dying, I thought I was going to die that night. But I'm doing it because I just, too many people even right now are getting it that have been vaccinated. I can't imagine what would happen to my lungs. Priscilla, you're silently watching. Well, hey, tell your husband hello. Let's see. Hello. Who is this? Who's hey y'all? Say hello. Dale said you can send all the, but doesn't he have a favorite brand? You said one of our chocolates you feel like is better. And who is this? Tell me who this is. So Miss Jen, here's the thing. I'm getting that booster shot where I can plan to be like comatose until I come see you guys on Tuesday in a live stream. So if Tuesday, I'll tell you this weekend if I found a place to get my shot. But if I come on Tuesday and and there's no picture of me, it's because I'm not feeling good. So just don't even ask. So let me show you something. My friend Nadine sent me fabulous Christmas gifts, and this is one of the Christmas gifts. So for a person who loves color and loves chocolate, this was like the bomb of all gifts. It was fantastic. Look at this. This is a hexagon. First of all, hexagon, bestagon. Hey, oh, Alyssa, good. It's you. Okay. He wants Hershey's. Okay. I can handle that. I can take care of that. So this came in a hexagon tin, and it's quality streets, and it's imported selection of caramels, creams, and fine pralines. Well, it's not pralines like what my husband makes. He's from Louisiana and he makes pralines. So it's not the same kind of candy. So if you're a Louisiana person and you're on here, do not get disappointed. Okay. But let me just show you. First of all, I wish there was a button on live streams where you could smell this, because when you open the lid, Nadine, don't laugh, but this is all that's left. Look at these jewel tone colors. Is this not seriously the most beautifully wrapped chocolate you've ever seen? Oh, I've been hiding this since it arrived. And it totally looks like this. It's just all of these beautiful colors. I love this one. Mine too, Nadine. There's one, it's like almost like a toffee that's in this long wrapper, but these were so great. And I didn't get to show those to you yet, but I was thinking about them today because of all the colors. Like all the colors have been bursting in my mind because of planning the gnome set. Let's see. Let's see. Jenny, hi, how are you? It's good to see you on here this evening. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. Hey, Debbie and Nicole Jackson. Aren't you in Florida? You're from, and then you're from New Orleans. Okay, so my husband is from Tioga, Louisiana, right outside Alexandria, but he makes the most incredible creamy pralines you've ever had in your life. I mean, totally amazing. So it's not the same kind. What they call a praline in Canada is not the same thing we do, but they are both fantastic. I mean, seriously fantastic. Oh, hey. Hello, Dee Dee. How are you this evening? All right, I want to show you one more thing, and then we're going to jump into our Valentine bows. And by the way, you guys, if you don't have this cutter, this might be a cutter you want to put your hands on, because someone astutely recognized that when they looked at this morning, that it looks like a very fancy butterfly. And since all of the events and my 2 tutorial Tuesdays for spring all going to be tied around the series that I explained to you this morning in the video with the garden gnome theme, someone astutely recognized that this design looks very much like a fancy butterfly. So if you do not have this cutter, this is the Lila Loa cutter. It's $5.99 on Amazon. You can probably get it other places as well, but you will probably be needing this in February, March, or April. So if you don't have this one, it's meant to be a fancy bow. She has 2 fancy bows, but this one in particular is one of my favorite, and they just nailed that right on the head. So you might want to go ahead and pick one of those up. Now, if you were not on with us this morning, I'm not going to give this too much time, but I want you to see the gnome that we're going to be doing in Nancy Westfall's Cookie-a-thon that I'm going to be teaching in. This is my 2D gnome piece. Isn't she cute? I named her Maddie Lane. Look at how sweet she is. She's about 8.5 inches tall. The base is 8.5 inches. She stands up firmly. She is cookie, so she can be a display piece. She can easily be converted to have an Easter theme with just a few minor changes. She can be used as table decoration for Easter, because basically the whole thing that we're going to be working on from the end of February until almost Easter is this whole garden gnome theme. And all of them can minor tweaks, and you'll have your full Easter display set done. And if you're having Easter dinner at your house, everyone is going to be so stinking impressed with you. Look at the butterflies even. Aren't they beautiful? And she's got denim. She actually has denim and patchwork on her dress. So cute. So this is the piece that I will be doing in Spring Cookie-a-thon. So when you start to see the links go up for Spring Cookie-a-thon, if you're in Cookie Snack Attack or you feel like supporting me, please wait to sign up under my affiliate link, because all of you all signing up under the affiliate link for Holiday Cookie-a-thon paid for over 3 months worth of live streaming. It was fantastic, and I cannot say thank you enough. So just wait for my link. They're not ready to do any of that yet, and the event is going to be on April 8th and 9th. And if it's Nancy Westfall's group, The Colorful Cookie, and her group is open for enrollment right now. She does crickets and silhouettes and 3D printing. And today she had a fabulous tutorial all about how to use your embossing machines, all the different embossing machines to make embossed parchment paper, which was just fabulous because she did 1.5 million tests. And you guys know I love mad scientist experiments. So I felt like Nancy just went all mad scientist and did everything she could do. And it was all labeled. And it was like, oh, I love this. It made me so happy to watch it while I was working on something. So it was fabulous. So 8th and 9th is where it's scheduled. Cookie-a-thon is supposed to be April 8th and 9th. And if she gets enough people participating and teaching, she's going to expand it until the 10th. So Vicki, this cookie cutter came off Amazon, and I can put a link in for you when we're done, an affiliate link, if you can give me that amount of time. But it's a Lila Loa design that came off Amazon, and we're going to use it tonight as a bow, and we're going to do 2 Valentine cookies. And then hopefully by tomorrow morning, I'm going to have your cards, your Cookie Snack Attack Cookie Education System cards will be posted. So you'll have a cover card, just like the mittens, where it's got both pictures on it and it's got the little index tab so you know what class it was for. And then you will have 2 separate cards, one for each cookie, that will break it down and have a link back to the YouTube videos. Now, earlier today, I said I was going to be prepared to put the cards up right away. The problem with that is sometimes YouTube gets me updated where the videos are uploaded immediately where I can copy a link. Sometimes it takes 6 to 8 hours. I'm not going to stay up 6 to 8 hours tonight to grab the live links. So if I can't grab a link in time to update both of them and put the whole set up at one time, so it's just one price for you, then it will be tomorrow morning. But I will be putting that up, okay? All right. Let's see. I think that's it. You love the gnome, Charlotte. I'm so excited. Now, in the whole spring series, I don't want people to freak out that don't really like gnomes, because in the whole spring series, that gnome is being specifically created. It was designed just for Cookie-a-thon, so it will belong within just that private group, their webpage for Cookie-a-thon for 1 year. But after Cookie-a-thon is over, I have 3 one-off classes, pre-recorded classes that will be going up. One of them is a standing boy gnome that will be a coordinating piece. One is a 3D cart with flowers that will be so cute to make part of your table display for Easter. And then the last one is actually a 2-sided gnome home that looks like a stump, but you're going to see the outside. And then if you twirl it around, you're going to see the inside. So much fun. We're going to have a lot of fun playing with textures, dimensions, layout, size, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. So those 3 one-off classes will be pre-recorded and be on the site. That way you can, but they're not posting until after Cookie-a-thon. The Cookie-a-thon cookie will be a gnome. That's the only 2 gnomes in the set. Everything else is coordinating pieces that are garden in nature. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Kathy, we're going to talk about that in like 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I don't even really know what that means, except I assume it's super quick and I've heard it my whole life. Let's see. So right now, Bobby, I do not have an affiliate code for you guys to use to join Nancy's club, but she did talk to me about that. So tomorrow I'm going to try to focus on that and get an actual link for it, because her club is open for joining right now. But there will be a specific affiliate link for me for Cookie-a-thon for the spring group. Okay. Let's see. Yes, dots and bows. I talked to Carrie already, and she's set. As soon as I start sending her pictures, she's set to start dropping all the cutters, and there will be STL files. And Cookie-a-thon is going to be April 8th and 9th, and if she gets enough teachers, she'll expand it to Sunday, April 10th as well. Okay. So excited. Happy to have everybody here. So if someone will please drop a comment in for me that the video starts 24 minutes in. If you'll drop that in, we're going to start in on this. I like to leave the whole video intact when it posts so that people can go back. Some people are not on our time zone. They're very, very different. So they actually have to watch these videos to get a lot of the information about our classes and things. So I don't trim them. But I think I may have found someone to help me start taking these large videos and condensing to some quick reels for people to just watch the decorating from beginning to end with the music in the background. So we may be making some progress there, okay? So let's jump in. These are both going to be Valentine bows. I decided to keep it super simple for you guys so that these are fancy looking, but you can do them quickly so that you can make them like a feature cookie in your set, but they're not actually going to take a lot of time. So let's jump right in. The colors, and when I have a few royal icing transfers, rosettes already ready to go. We're going to mix these colors tonight. We may not use them all, but these are the ones I picked, okay? And for colors tonight, we have a flood consistency white because we're going to be doing some wet on wet. We have some flood consistency soft pink. We have flood consistency in the red, and I did not go to a deep, deep red like I did my rosettes, because if I end up putting this on top of this, I wanted this to be a little bit lighter so I'd have some contrast. Then I've got a flood consistency in mint green. This is my color scheme pretty much that we're going to be using for the next several weeks on the Valentine items and Valentine class. So if you purchase the Valentine class, by the way, that is still up for sale. If you have time to gather your own supplies, that class is not until Saturday, January 22nd. So it's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. And that Saturday, the class is from 4 to 7 via Zoom. You still have plenty of time to sign up for class. And it doesn't have to be the exact cutters that we're doing. You can focus more on the techniques. You're still going to get a lot out of it. The class is listed for $30. It will go up to $35 after the live is over, and there will be a pre-recorded video for all of it, okay? And there is a wonderful set of Cookie Snack Attack cookie education cards included in your class without the price being upped at all on the class, and that's a 7-card piece that's in with that, as well as your cookie recipe, your royal icing recipe, videos for both of those, edible glue, the supply lists are in there. There's just all kinds of good stuff packed into Valentine's Day. And then we have a thick consistency green that we're going to do a special cut on the bag, make that bird beak, the chicken beak, I like to call it. We'll be using that to do a little bit of leaf piping tonight. So you don't have to have all of these colors, but you definitely need at least 3 for the wet on wet technique, okay? Now, let's come back and talk about this cookie. I have this absolutely fully detailed, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm just going to quickly explain this for tonight. But last week in the mitten video, the part 1 of 2, last week on Tuesday, on January 4th, I fully explained how to create this cool texture and a lot of tips and tricks. But this is basically a crackle finish to make it look like it's a piece of antique wood. And I like to even paint the sides because I do get a little height on my cookie, even though they're relative. I mean, you can see it's very flat. Doesn't have a big hump or anything in it. My cookies, this is just the recipe that I use. It's the recipe that's in the Valentine class. And I do use silicone mats. But what's really nice about this is if you do a very thin layer, and it's got to be a particular kind of white food gel with titanium dioxide in it, okay? That seems to be the key ingredient. I'm not positive that's what it is, but I believe that that's what it is because regular gel colors will not crackle like this. If you paint a cookie with regular gel colors before you bake the cookie, the only way you'll get the crackle finish is if your cookie spreads a lot. That's the only way it'll show up. So if you want to try doing a colored crackle on your cookie, make sure you start with some white as your base and then add a little bit of whatever color you want to use, and it will still crackle, okay? So this is just a fun texture to play with, and these are some extra cookies. I told you guys just to have generic shapes because the next couple of weeks we're going to be mainly about texture and design, like how we're laying things out. But what we're going to do tonight, you can do on any cookie. You can do it on a hexagon, a circle, a square, a rectangle, anything. It's just some designs that are really fun, quick, easy, but they look super fancy that you will be able to use. I find the wide width at the bottom. Kelly, I'll put a link up as soon as this is over. Is Jen here? Jen Sahara, are you here? Are you on here? I'm sure you could find that link in a heartbeat. Hi, Gianna. How are you doing tonight? Hi, Andrea. Let me look over here. Hi, Lauren. Let's see. Give me just a second, guys. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Hi, Sabra. I didn't see that you joined us. How are you? And June, hello, and Andy and Bob. Did I catch everybody? And I said hi to Kat already, right? Hi, Hazel. How are you? And Grammy and Kids Cookies is watching. Hello. Hi, Karen Green. Wendy Pierce, how are you doing? Lynn is here. Hi. Oh, I see so many more people when I can keep multiple devices up. This is so nice. Can see lots more of you. Hi, Larry. Do I have everybody? I think I caught up with everybody. Hi, Holly. How are you doing tonight? So I'm just trimming bags. Does anybody need me to go over how I trim these tipless bags? Don't normally do this when you're working because you don't want to cut and have this little plastic piece go onto your cookie. But for video purposes, I've already got everything set in place. So if you are new, tipless piping bags are wonderful. They keep the cleaning down on the tips, but there is a time and a place for tips. They're very handy for certain things. And really, if you need something to be a perfect round line when it comes out. Yeah, Bobby, I've actually done that color trick. I just mixed a little bit of the white in and it crackled like a champ. It looked great. And in fact, I tested it out to do wood grain with it and it looked beautiful. I just added a little bit of light brown. And I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I have finger gel. My hands are stained and my fingernails are stained. I've been doing a lot of mixing today in between loading. And Facebook user that likes the colors. I'm so glad that you like the colors. This is such a pretty muted set, really. Let's see. Oh, this is the bag. I'm going to go ahead and cut it now so we're ready to go. I'm going to cut an inverted V. So instead of the point being outward on my bag, I'm going to cut a V into my bag. Okay, can you see that? Let me lift. There we go. You can see that really well over the color. And now my scissors are stuck on my knuckle. Okay, so the reason you don't cut over your bag normally when you're cooking for real is you don't want to drop this little piece and have it go in someone's icing, right? So I usually have a little trash can off to the side, fresh bag in it every time I sit down to work, and I do all my cutting over that bag so I'm sure everything falls into that and can't work its way back into my cookies because that's just not fun. Okay, so the Facebook user, I'm so sorry. You have to tell it who you are. Tell it it's okay to show your name. That's why I can't address you by name. But for this question, you missed the first part, any white coloring. The white gel coloring has to say titanium dioxide in the ingredients. That's just trial and error. I'm not sure why that's the thing that makes it work, but trial and error, that is the white, because there are some whites that don't have that. They're not as bright white, but there's something about that is just knocks it out of the park. But the key, guys, for new people, the key is thin layer. Don't make it thick or it won't crack. You want this nice antique and crackle finish like on old furniture or wood signs or antique ornaments or something, thin layer, okay? And you'll see all the tips in the video from last Tuesday, the part 1 of 2 during the mittens video. There's some other tips and tricks, okay? Vicky just got the Valentine class. I'm so excited. So when the live feed's over, we'll get you in the group and you can get started looking around. All right, so the first thing we're going to jump off and do is we're going to do wet on wet. But isn't this cool? So forever, you guys, you know I like this needlepoint scribe for fine detail work. Forever, it's only been available in hot pink. And then look what just came today. Fun, fun. Gotta have 2 shades of pink all the time. Love it. So I'll be using my new needlepoint one tonight. The reason I'm using the needlepoint is because I'm going to do a drag wet on wet technique. And I want really fine detail because I'm making little hearts. So the first thing we're going to do is the bottom part of our bow. And then we're going to come back to the top and do something different. And then I'm going to show you something really simple for our second cookie. So what I want to do first, though, you guys, I'm going to use my Thingamajiggy. Love this tool. It's fabulous. It's just perfect size for doing scraping. But I'm going to create a 3-dimensional bow on this cookie. So that can be setting up, I'm going to go ahead. I want the inside of my ribbon to be the same color, but I want it to be flat. So I'm just going to put a little icing on the cookie. I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch in. I don't want to flood it. I just want the icing on there because, and actually I'm not going to use my Thingamajiggy. I thought about this earlier. I'm going to grab a flat tip brush And I'm going to brush this down and pull the extra icing off. And I'm leaving a nice border here so I can see my crackle finish on this side and a nice border here. So I'm just pulling this in, wiping off the excess on a paper towel that I have to the side. I don't need this to look like a brush embroidery pattern or anything. I just want that red interior look for my ribbon, since my ribbon is going to be red. Okay. I'm going to try to do a textured ribbon for you tonight. So I'll be working with like a medium consistency icing. And the reason I'm not scraping it is because I have less control with the scraper. I have less control with the scraper when I want an edge. And so this will end up being the interior part of my bow. And I want that to have a chance to set up before we start piping. Just make sure it's good and covered. I think that looks good. Let's slide this one over. This is going to be a more floral looking bow, whereas the other one is going to be more about design in the bow. So let's start over here. And the first thing I want to do, I want to stay inward at least 1/4 of an inch all the way around my cookie. Holly, if you're going to be getting one of the Easter boxes, it's going to be in your Easter box. So don't run out and buy it, even if you do find it. That the light pink scribe arrived today, and it's going to be packed into the Easter boxes because you will need it for Easter because it's a needlepoint scribe. So I'd like for you guys to try all the different kinds of tools so that you know there's really, really highly items that can be used for really, really highly detailed projects, as well as things that they're larger, they're wider, you can go fast. You know, there's different uses for all the tools. So I always like to get you different tools, and that is an item that has not come in one of your toolkits yet. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to do a cool, we're going to do a wet on wet stripe, and we're going to do a really pretty pulled heart pattern. So I'm not going to take the time to do this inner side of my loop. It's still going to look just like a bow, but I want to get as much surface space as I can for making my little hearts. So what we're going to do is stay 1/4 inch in all the way around, and I did not cut the tip of that bag wide enough. So let me just cut just a smidge more off. It doesn't matter, you guys, if you have to cut your bag a second time, because you can always cut a larger hole, but it's obviously you can't put the plastic back on to make a smaller hole. So start small, go larger. Hey, Becky, I'm glad you made it. And because I want my crackle finish to show, I am going to stay about 1/4 of an inch in all the way around the bow part. And this was initially cut out. The reason it has the hole pre-baked into it is it was initially cut out to be used at Christmas time for an ornament, but I did so many of those, I didn't need to come back and finish this. So now I'm just using up cookies that I had made, right? Hi, Mary Lynn, how are you? So what I'm going to do with that outline, this is about an 18 consistency icing, 18 seconds until it settles out flat again. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this. I don't want to overfill it, because when you're doing a wet on wet, that usually means you're going to be adding more color on top of this color, and you don't want it to push off the cookie. And in this case specifically, we don't want it to blow out the outline, which is the dam to hold the icing back. We don't want it to blow out the outline because we want to see that cool crackle finish, right? If we made the crackle finish, we want to see it. We don't want to fully cover it. All right. And I also, I like something that when the kids and I have cookie classes, when I have the kids' cookie classes, we call it shake, shake, shake. Becky, we had a whole talk about the butterfly. You want to buy this cutter if you're going to be doing the spring gardening set that has the gnome and all the extra little things in it. You're going to want this cutter because it's going to be one of the cutters that we use to make a butterfly. Someone astutely caught on to that this morning. So a little shake, 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 and look how perfect the icing is. Isn't that great? So that's just a quick trick. You can only do it a couple times on a cookie, because if I do it now, it's fine. But if this starts to set up and the icing starts to crust a little bit, and then I try to do shake, shake, shake on the bottom half, I could end up causing little fracture lines in my icing. So I don't want to do that. Now, I do want to create really fun hearts around the cookie. So I'm going to use 2 colors. I'm going to use red and I'm going to use pink. And I'm going to alternate where those are in my cookie design. So I'm doing my red first, and I'm just basically pressure piping right on top and it's sinking down into the white, and I've got to move fast because I want to do a wet on wet technique. So, and before you guys, don't forget, if you're new, before you pipe on your cookie, always purge the tip of your bag off to the side on a paper towel. That's a lot easier to do and a much less waste of icing than squirting on the cookie and your bag is crusted, and then it just looks terrible when it hits the cookie. So let's go ahead and do 2 pinks here because I think we just need another. Now, once you start with this, you have to commit, finish at least half of your circle around your heart. You want to put this in to the cookie, all right, into the icing, but not so far down that it touches the cookie. And we're going to create a heart. So whichever direction we go is going to, imagine that as being like the top of the heart and the bottom's going to drag out the tail. So on this side, I want to come right through here, and I want to drag around the edge. And one of my icings may be a little too thick. So I did an interconnected chain of hearts, and you guys, you can't see them that great. So hold on, let's do this because it's just not going to look pretty when we're done, and I want to photograph this. So let me just take this off. This is the great thing about royal icing. I put my dots together a little too close, and my icing, my red icing's a little thick, so it can't be that close together to get a good clean heart pattern. So look at that. Already we're ready to go again. Do you see how easy that is? If you make a mistake, just take it off. It's the great thing about cookie decorating. All right, so let's get a nice outline and flood on here. Luckily, I have enough to do more than 2 cookies, so we're not going to have to worry about that. It's not helping that I have the little space heater on in my cookie studio. It's just making air go. And so I feel like everything's setting up much faster than normal. Your grandson. Oh, really? Tell him hello. What's his name? Hi, Larry. Tell him I said hello. I like it when the kids watch. It's a great creative outlet, and kids love cookie decorating. So it's fun when they jump on. All right, so let's do the pink hearts. The pink icing was a little bit looser. I think it's going to show up better. So we're going to do dots. I'm going to put them a little bit further apart. I can't believe we're going to get snow again this weekend. It's so crazy. We've barely had any snow here in 5 years, and now we're going to get a ton this weekend. Can't wait. Well, maybe I'll be sleeping. So I'm just shooting this down into the white icing. All right, so here we go again. All the same things I said, right? Yes, I think it's important that you guys see actual real mistakes, because if you don't, then you think you have to scrap the whole cookie, and you never have to scrap a whole cookie if you catch it quick enough. So let's start from here on the other side of the pink, because I want to drag some of that white in. I'm down in the icing about halfway, but not touching down. There we go. So we get really cute interlocking hearts. I have a paper towel off to the side. I'm cleaning the tip, and I'm going to come right in here, white into the pink, and I'm going to connect this chain. So all those hearts are like traveling around the outside of the cookie. Okay. And now this side, I want them to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to start here. A little bit too much icing there, so I'm going to pull that out and wipe it off. We're going to come through here, and we're just going to continue. There we go. It's kind of hard to see because of the pink, but guys, the red is way too thick. Still looks good, but it's just a little too thick. So what we're going to do for the next part is we're going to make the bottom of the bow completely different, and we're going to do a nice outline with our 18-second. It's supposed to be 18-second, but it's a little thick on the red. A little thick on this one. Let me see. It was so thinned out earlier that I went back and thickened it again, and I think I just made it a little thicker than what I would normally like to see it be. But it will work for what we're doing. So let me get this up on camera so you can see how I did the tails down here. And this is just going to give me a nice outline. What we're going to do with this is make a red outline, and then we're going to flood in another color, because I just want to bring to your attention that doing that underlying outline or dam in a different color makes such an attractive cookie. So that's another really easy way to plan to make your cookies have that extra little zing without spending a lot of time. So I'm going to come back right away with some pink flood icing. And I want to fill it, but I'm shooting it over towards the outline rather than on top of it because I want that red outline to show up. So it just gives you a little bit more with the cookie. Makes it a lot of fun. And it's going to tie your 3 colors together when we get done because we're about to put stripes on here. And I'm going to talk to you about vibrating your icing. Okay. So if your icing is a little bit thicker like this is, yes, I could sit here and wait to see if it would settle out, but technically not necessary to do that, because if you have a needlepoint scribe or a regular scribe and you just start giving a little jiggle, what's happening is all the water starting to seek the water. So you see how it just that little bit of vibrating in the icing. I don't like to do it with a bag that I've cut open to be a wider tip, especially when I'm doing a two-tone like this, because I would risk busting that outer line and I want that nice red outline. But if I had done this in a pink outline and then pink color for the center, then I could have very easily done the vibrating when I was piping the icing just by jiggling the tip of my bag as I was putting the icing down. All right, and then a little bit of vibrating right there knocks that tip down. So you see how easy that is? Just another fun technique for you guys. I'm zoomed in enough, right? You guys can see this real well. The camera seems to be doing a really good job tonight focusing. Amelia's going to be a baker. How fun is that? Somewhere, Nadine, I don't know if I still have it or not, but I think I do. I had a really cute little kid's apron set because I used to let them use it to take photos in front of the windows at the store before we moved up here, but I haven't seen it since we moved home. But if I find that, I'll send you that for Amelia because it'd be perfect for her to get photos in right now. She's just the right size for it. All right, so now we've got this all smoothed out. We've got that nice outline. Now let's do some fun stripes, okay? We don't want it to look Christmassy, so I'm not going to go in with green on this because we're using red, pink, and white. But I am going to come back and we're going to do this cool, fun pattern. We're going to go at an angle with the red. That's going to tie all of our red together. I'm spacing these out about 1/4 inch. Whoop. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you how to put the icing down. I think we have a lot of new people watching tonight, so it's nice for you to understand how to put a line of icing down where you don't end up with balls on the end of your lines at the beginning or end. So I'm going to show you that in a minute on the other cookie to just remind me to come back because I'm noticing lots of new names. Hey, Sherry, how are you? All right, so let's come back with our white since we've put pink down as our base and we've done our first stripe in red. And let's go the opposite direction and put some white down. It doesn't have to be a lot. And use the flow of your line to create movement on your cookie. This bow is so great for that. It's such a nice cut. Very easy to make it look like you have good movement on your cookie. Okay, now let's come back with just a little bit more of that red. And we're going to cross over these whites, and then you get this beautiful pattern. Then we'll drop one last white line on top, and when these all settle down together, you'll see how cool this looks. So play with patterns, you guys. It does make a difference how you layer the lines and how many lines. So play with these things when you're designing a set. And get creative because mistakes are often when you find the best patterns and things of that nature. Like you discover stuff when you're not even trying to. Do you know what I mean? And colors. Sometimes mixed colors become your favorite colors. And if that ever happens to you, make sure you write down what you did because chances are you won't remember again. All right, so let's go alternating, trying to keep the bag where you can see. I'm going to do some white on top of all of that. And as it starts to lay down, I'm going to lift it so you can see it. It makes this really pretty pattern by having the layers. Even if your icing is too wet, you're not going to be able to tell. It makes this beautiful pattern. I think mine is perfect because it's not melting into the icing below it. So I think I have a really good consistency tonight. And all of these were just remixed right before our live stream started. But it looks so cool layered. Just has this beautiful effect to it. And I do want to put one flower on here. So let me just give this a second. I'm going to use my scribe and just tap a few of these areas down just to make sure they settle. I don't want to wait till the last minute and then them not settle down. I'm going to pull these up towards the center here. Same thing on this side. I'm just going to work this white into the red so that it doesn't look so broken apart. This makes it look more like it's blended. Okay, see that? And then we're going to drop a flower in that center section. But do you see how that looks when you alternate the lines like that? And how simple it is to just play with a pattern like that? Particularly good for summer patterns. All right, so I think what I would like to do is drop a red in here. Okay. And then I think this little guy is done. I don't feel like I want to add the green. I don't want it to risk being too Christmas looking because of the color combination, but I did want that little rosette on there, okay? And I did the red to tie together with that red bottom part. So easy cookie. It would not have taken you that long if I had not made the mistake. So guys, I think, yeah, let's do this. Let's do a red outline. So now what we're going to do on our second bow, just making sure I'm in frame there, is we're going to come in and we're going to put an outline down for the outer part of the bow. And we've left a good 1/8 inch around the outside of the cookie on this one so that you can still see that beautiful crackle finish. On a bow like this, because it is symmetrical, everything is symmetrically placed in the cutter itself. It's not sloped or twisted or turned or anything. I am going to try to keep my 2 bow tabs, these open parts of my bow tabs, I'm going to try to keep them the same. All right, so let's come up here. Normally this would join, so just for sake of the video, I'm just going to come right over where we had that hole from before and join these up. I'm going to come along the outside edge here and continue to put down an outline that's going to act as a dam to hold back our flood icing. And I'm going to do my bow just like we did the earlier one. Same thing here. And so guys, if you're new, let's talk about something because I've had several messages this week asking this question. So while this is setting up for a second, let me just show you something. I think this will be helpful. I'm going to try to hold it up so it might take the camera a second to refocus, but I want you to see this. You know, a lot of times when people are piping, there's so much pressure on the bag. When they put their line down, they end up with that ball at the end. They end up with little splits in the middle. Or they end up with a ball on the end, right? And that all has to do with the control of your hand. So it's a practice thing, okay? What you want to get used to doing is just let a little bit of icing come out of the bag, and then we call this anchor and hook, or I do. It's just what I learned when I started with cookies. We want to put a little bit of icing out so you can see that that's all the same diameter on our circle. We let it anchor to the cookie. And then we continue to squeeze with a nice even pressure, let the line build up, gravity takes over, pulls it down to the cookie. And when we're almost before we're going to stop piping, we release all of the pressure from the bag, let it anchor, and then pull away. So you see the difference in that? Something like this, even if your bag is above your cookie, but you've got too much pressure at the beginning, you're going to have a buildup there, and you're going to have to really, really pressure pipe. You see what I'm saying? To keep your line the same width, right? Like that's a whole different technique. So you want to squeeze a little bit out where you've got about 1/8 out of the bag. You want to let it anchor and hook to the cookie. Keep continual smooth pressure. Right before you're about to stop your line, you want to stop the pressure and then pull off, and you'll have a nice smooth line. And honestly, it's all about practice. All right? But the main thing is understanding that if you start attaching a bunch of icing to the cookie before you bring some out of your bag to act as your anchor bit, That's the problem. So if you're having this problem, this is why. So a nice squeeze, so you have that nice round line, let it anchor and hook. Pull it while you're consistently piping, totally release the pressure, let it anchor again and pull away, okay? All right, so just a little tip while this other is setting up. Let's get that paper towel out of the way because that's gonna be a hot mess. Let's purge the tip of this red bag and we're gonna go ahead and fill. And I am going to section this little bit off in the center here. Doesn't have to be fancy, but I want an actual bow knot in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. I don't care that it's really thick icing because for this bow, that's what we wanted. We were going to try to create a little bit of a texture. So it doesn't matter if this doesn't settle down right away, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to pull that paintbrush out and we're going to do a little, not sculpting technically, it's not thick enough to be sculpting, and we're not going to be using plastic fondant tools, but we're going to manipulate the icing slightly, okay? So I'm just using flat tip, about a 1/4 inch wide brush, okay? And what I'm going to do is just up and down in my bow, and I'm hopefully going to get a cool texture. Hopefully my icing is the right consistency for this, because what I want it to do, I want a little bit of the water to gather together so that it melts together and marries up with the outline. But I also want it to have enough sugar in there that I get little points and design in my bow. We want it to hold that a little bit just for some fun texture. Also, guys, you want to make this really quick. Put that icing down. Doesn't matter what consistency. Get your sugar on it, and then you're ready to go ice your next section. Once you put a topping on it, like the comprels or sanding sugar, if you want to put some fancy sanding sugar on your cookie, you can move right on. But you can see the design that I can get in there, right? This will take a little bit longer when you're doing cookies. This is obviously, you know, it's more time. It's like picking up a scribe. Every time you pick up a scribe, it's making it take a little bit longer. And sometimes if you're doing several hundred cookies, just stop and rebag the icing. If that's the problem, don't fight with it all night. And then you're going to wind up being part of Team No Sleep. And nobody wants to be part of Team No Sleep. So if you're doing a couple hundred cookies, it's not worth fighting with it. If you're only doing a few, this is fun. It's just something fun. Try out a new texture and learn, because, you know, we're always making cool display pieces and things for our families, friends, baby showers, pieces people are going to keep. So it's just nice to fully understand what the medium you're working in can do, right? All right, so I'm going to leave that little bit of texture on there. I'm going to come back with that same bag of icing, and I'm going to put down an outline on top of it, and it should stay separate. Normally you'd have to run this through the dehydrator a few minutes, let it crust, but this is a thick enough icing that it should stay completely separate. And I am just going to put a bunch of icing in here because I want that center part of my bow to be the highest part. I want it to be the highest part in the foreground. Okay. And I'm just going to give it a little swirl. If it holds the texture, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But I want it to have that look of pulled taffy or a candy swirl. And hopefully we'll see what happens. We're going to try to do a heart right in the center. Let's turn that just a little bit, and let's use our white for this so that it'll coordinate really well with our other cookie. And what we're going to do is just take our bag 90 degrees to the center. We're going to put the tip of the bag in the red. We're going to squeeze out white. Okay. And I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you the heart, but then I'm going to go back and swirl it. Okay. So starting up in the red, I'm going to pull down and get that cool hot heart in my bow knot. You could leave it just like this if you want to, okay? It's a Valentine bow, so you can leave it, but I feel like I want to show you something else. Do you want me to leave the heart, or can I show you the other thing that I want to show you there? You want me to leave it? Can I do the swirl? So you can do that same dot of white in the center pumped into the red, and then start in the center. And look, just this beautiful little, so it looks like a cinnamon candy where you have that swirl. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those cinnamon candies like you get at time. I think they're called Star Brights or something. And make that fun look so that it just looks like a little piece of candy, but it's actually all royal icing, right? So a swirl is really fun to do. And if there's too much white in one area, just pick up some of the red and bring a little more in, okay? You can just pick up in the red area and go into the white. You just need a few more little lines. And make sure you keep that center looking like a circle so it does look like the center of a bow knot, okay? So you've got your very background where we did our fine scraping to make this a very low layer. We've got our crackle finish. We're doing a little bit of texture. Now it's a little bit more crusted. So I'm going to come back and just add a little bit more texture to it with this brush. This works great with this tip of a brush, which is about a 1/4 inch flat brush and stiff bristles, okay? And I'm going to try my best not to agitate it so much that I lose that center part of the bow knot. So I just want to create this fun texture once it starts to set up so that it holds in theme to the rustic look of having the wooden crackle finish, okay? Hey, Sally, how are you? Elisa, you never told me what you were doing for your birthday today. I don't know if you're even out to dinner right now or if you're at home or what you ended up doing for the day. So please feel free to fill us in on your birthday escapades over in the comment section. And I hope you got fun cookie decorating tools and things to play with in the cookie group for birthday presents, because that's just like a total bonus. All right, so there we go. We got a little bit of extra texture. We've got that candy swirl in the center. Now let's come down to the bottom and we're going to pipe these bottom in red outline, and then we're going to fill in pink and do a little bit of swirling, okay? And then we are going to add at least one little rosette to this cookie. All right, I'm just going to come down to the end of the bow here to make it look like it's a little tail. I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch in because, again, I want to see that cool crackle finish. And you guys, you can see this is a 2 tutorial cookie. It's not super fancy. It just looks like you've done a lot to the cookie because you invested your time on the front end of the cookie when you were baking. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of red in here, just a little, because the pink, remember I mentioned earlier, the pink is a looser icing. So when the pink is on top of this red and then I go to swirl it, it will all marry together really nicely and give us a nice design down here. I didn't want to do stripes again because we already went over the stripes, but I think this will be fun. I'm also going to put a little bit of white down here because the white is even looser. Oh, and by the way, for the ones that messaged me to ask about Nana, my Anna Lynn, my puppy, she's doing much better today. She feels so much better. And she's rested a lot, so I'm really glad we were able to get her medicine first thing in the morning yesterday because she had a much easier time of it today after being on that yesterday and today. Which means I had an easier time because I just cringe when my puppies are not feeling good. It's upsetting. And it's really upsetting when it happens on a weekend. All right, so here we go. We're going to do the fun candy swirl. I just want to mix the red and the white, but I don't want to mix it so much that I lose, that it just becomes another color, right? I want these fun traveling lines. It's very whimsical looking. I can see it. I can see it in the icing that it's pulling just highlights of red along from that center line I dropped in, but I doubt you're going to be able to see it very good on camera because it's very faint. It's very faint what it's pulling up. In the icing, and I'm swirling in the icing, but I'm not touching the cookie. Another day we'll go over that. But just important to know if you're trying at home tonight, I'm not actually touching the cookie. Okay. I'm going to pull a little bit of that pink in down on this red line, even if it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, if it's too set up. I'm going to pull just a little bit down because that will draw your eye down and it will look like a separate piece of small ribbon hanging on your cookie there, which I think is really attractive. All right, then let's go ahead on this one. And I want to put a couple of rosettes, and I think I want to put, how should I put them on here? Should I just put it in the center like we did the other one? Let me grab one of these. And do I want an ivory? No, I want a pink. I think the pink will look nicer. I'm going to drop it in here on our candy, but on this one, I'm going to pipe the leaves just so you can see how to pipe the leaves. And then truthfully, I'm probably going to scrape this cookie off after I thin my red icing before I take the picture. So if you see that it looks different tomorrow, that's probably why I only have 2 of these left. So remember, we cut our chicken beak. Okay, I'm going to turn it where it looks like it would actually be pecking you, like a chicken would peck you or a rooster would come after you. And we're going to do these cool leaves. Okay. So we're doing this. Let me lift it up, get it higher for you here. I'm going underneath the royal icing transfer floral that I put on here, and I'm just giving it a little shimmy. And my icing is perfect consistency, so it's holding all those cool little ridges to make it look like a fondant leaf. Okay. And let's just put a little teeny one over here. All right, so we did a whole bunch of different techniques on these 2 cookies. And then did that crackle finish too. So they're going to look really good with the gloves that we did last week. But I am going to play with it a little bit more tonight before we take the photo, because I need to thin that red out so that we have a better wet on wet for our hearts. Okay. I feel like our hearts could be more defined up on that one. Okay. So that is it for tonight. And we're finishing good. It's just a little bit after 8. I may see you tomorrow. It just depends on what happens when Annalyn goes to visit the doctor tomorrow. If I get home early enough, I have this really fun bag of things that I've been gathering that have arrived. This really cool bag of all kinds of fun new things that have arrived over the last 2 weeks. And I want to show those to you, but I want to keep that in a separate video so it doesn't mess up your video times when you come back to watch these things, okay? So I will, hey, Christy, I just saw there. How are you? That green is mint green, and it is so pretty. So pretty. Okay, so don't forget to check out the earlier part of the video before the 25-minute mark where I show you what I'm going to teach in Cookie-a-thon, and we just have general cookie chit-chat, okay? But I'm going to catch up with you guys later. I hope you have a fabulous night, and it was fun spending time with you. I also hope you like the new countdown timer. We'll be adding some more. Right now I'm working on one with a candy theme, and then one where we can add photos. So super excited about what's coming for you. Make sure you go on the site and download your cards from last week and your index cards so you can get your Cookie Snack Attack cookie education system started and get your box going, okay? All right, have a great night.